What is up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys had yourselves a great weekend. Hope you guys are doing well yourselves. Bringing you my review of Godzilla Minus One, and very much I will have to say, this will have a little bit of spoilers in it. This movie came out this past Friday. I think there may have been an early screening of it on Thursday, maybe. Because I was seeing people already post, clips from the movie and things like that. But yeah. So before I get in full talks about this movie, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Check out the channel. A lot of content going on right now, and overall, I really, really loved this movie. I thought it was really good. And even like, if you look at like Rotten Tomatoes, I think when it first came out, Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 100%. And then their audience ratings is pretty high. It's without a doubt a very successful movie. And it is so surprising. And it has really, really made other movies look bad. And here's what I mean by this, and this will go into my overall thoughts of the movie itself. This movie had a budget of I believe $15 million, and it, for the most part, it looked better than movies that have a budget of $100+ million. Yeah, the CGI was bad in some spots when it came to Godzilla, but I felt like the overall not set designs, but the period in which they were depicting this movie in looked really good. One of the knocks with the legendary MonsterVerse set of movies is the human element isn't as good, whereas in Godzilla Minus One, the human element is very good. I enjoyed these characters. They were all very convincing. They were all very compelling. They were all very unique. And so, combine that with what we saw with Godzilla and the action sequences involving him, it was a very solid movie. It's definitely up there with a lot of my favorite Godzilla movies. I'm not sure where I would rank it just yet. The only Godzilla movies I have not seen have been Shin Godzilla, and I believe it's Godzilla the 1984 movie, and then Godzilla versus Biollante. I have not seen those three movies, but needless to say, everybody's been saying it all over the internet too. This movie is so good. It is a lot of people's favorite Godzilla movie, and it was very unique and different because for the majority of these Godzilla films, you never really saw the death toll that he could cause. Now, Godzilla 1954, the original Gojira, Godzilla King of the Monsters, depending on whether you're Japanese or American or whatever, there were some instances of where you would basically see people die on screen, but then you look just down the line of the other Godzilla based movies, you don't really see that death toll that he causes. And then this Godzilla was basically pure evil. Pure evil. Now, yes, there have been Godzilla movies where like the Showa era, you could probably say he's more of a good guy. The Millennium series, probably neutral. I wouldn't say he's neither good nor bad. And then obviously the legendary Godzilla series of Godzilla is more along the lines. he's a keeper of balance. So again, he's neither good nor bad, but you could obviously make the case on, he could technically wipe out humans because of all the bad that they cause to the earth. That's a whole different thing. But I just thought that this movie portrayal of Godzilla was really, really good. It really, it felt like the 1954, but just modernized and just revamped in some spots here and there. Some of the same locations were there, like Oda Island. That was, very set apart because this movie takes place after World War II. And I love what they did was they did these kind of yearly jumps to show you what's been going on. Because obviously we have our main protagonist, which I'm gonna be very bad at trying to pronounce their names. But you have Koigi, who was basically a coward, for lack of a better word. He was a kamikaze pilot, but did not go through with it. And so throughout the movie, you were seeing him not only deal with that aspect, but also the aspect of him on Oda Island, where Godzilla first appears. He has an opportunity to take a shot at Godzilla. Now, obviously, we don't know if Godzilla would have died or not. Obviously not, because the movie would have been short, but that's beside the point. But obviously, because of his cowardice, the soldiers on Oda Island are all basically get killed, except for one. But, and then, it was very, very, surreal watching this and just seeing how, he comes back home, and obviously his home's destroyed in the fire bombings during the war and things like that. And like the fact that, he was a kamikaze pilot who didn't do his duty, it's frowned upon. Like, it was like very serious. Like towards the beginning of the movie, a neighbor of his thought, she knew he was a kamikaze pilot, but he's standing right in front of her and realizes, he didn't go through with it. Maybe if he did, her kids would have been alive. That had to be rough. And so I thought, the actor, he did a good job with that. Then you had the actress who played Norico. She was very good. Like, everybody in this movie was very, very good. And it felt so good. It felt just great watching a Godzilla movie. I don't know if Shin Godzilla did this too. It probably did, but like just having them speak Japanese and you just have the subtitles, because it really falls back to watching the old Godzilla movies that I used to watch growing up. Now, yeah, they kind of like dubbed them a little bit for the most part, with American voices and things like that. But it was very fun just being able to just sit there, listen to them talk in Japanese, and just have the subtitles there at the bottom of the screen. And I mentioned before, the CGI, I thought a lot of it was fine. It wasn't. I mean, there were some spots here and there, but I think overall it looked relatively good. And on a $15 million budget, obviously you had to kind of like stretch that a little bit. But I thought the action sequences were great. I thought they were pretty fun. There was a scene, again, this is spoiler based. If you haven't seen the movie, then you need to go see the movie. Where they first encounter Godzilla after he's been irradiated from the Bikini Atoll bombings, and they are dropping mines to try to slow him down because they're waiting on a specific heavy cruiser to show up to try to kill Godzilla. It was really cool because whenever Godzilla would take damage, he would heal, but he would have those scars from once they had healed up. Now, obviously, him healing is not a new thing. Godzilla's always done that, but you've never seen it for the most part in a way where the scars are still there. Maybe Legendary's Godzilla. I can't think of any of the other Godzilla movies where it kind of shows that. It was just so cool, and his atomic ray. It was a very unique way of doing it. I wonder if they do more sequels with this movie, if they kind of like maybe speed up that process of him charging it, because it charged like a nuclear reactor would. I wonder just if they will, kind of modify that a little bit more in a future sequel, or something like that. But I'm trying to think. It felt like when he first makes it on land, and in Ginza, very much felt like watching kind of like that first sequence of events in the original Godzilla movie, where he's just going through the city, picking up the train. A lot of it was kind of not shot for shot, but a lot of it was kind of like almost identical to the original movie, which was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I'm not complaining about that. I will say the music. I will say the music in the movie. It was a miss in some spots. I just felt like I understand that they maybe had to put the original theme music and stuff like that in. I can understand that, but I felt like there were certain moments, especially when he's doing his first rampage through Ginza. It's supposed to have like a horror aspect to it. People are getting trampled and things like that. But the music kind of took that vibe away. But I mean, it is what it is. It was crazy though, just watching, just Godzilla walk and people get trampled, and just building collapsing on people. It was wild just watching just those sequence of events go on throughout the film. I thought it was a very cool play. They kind of replaced Dr. Shirazawa with Noda. I don't want to say Dr. Noda. He was a weapon designer, but Noda. He was kind of the clone of Dr. Shirazawa, and they kind of went a different route with the way they kind of killed off Godzilla, which I thought was very unique and very interesting way of doing it. Again, it felt like a little soft reboot of the series. The last action sequence of the movie, good, solid. Obviously, at the ending of the movie, it just hints to more Godzilla movies that are coming out. But yeah, man, it was just it was a really fun movie. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm very excited to see where they go from here with this studio. I think the director talked about he wants to do a Star Wars movie. I'd like to see what he does with it. But yeah, Godzilla Minus One definitely is as good as people has been advertising it to be. It's a very solid film. Obviously, it does lack here in some spots, but overall, I don't think it really takes away from the movie itself. And it is definitely a top tier Godzilla movie for sure. So I definitely would recommend going to see it. But that is pretty much it, you guys. That's all I have for you guys. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, comment below, tell me what you thought about the movie, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.